everybody, welcome back to Mac the Maverick, where we talk all things well-rounded womanhood, like wellness and organization. So if you're new to my channel, you may not be aware that back in 2023, I had major surgery to remove 45 fibroids. Yes, you heard that correctly. And if you're actually interested in hearing more about that, I did a whole series chronicling my journey from diagnosis through recovery right here on YouTube and also over on the Mac the Maverick blog. But today I want to come back and share with you a project that came out of that experience. So when I was getting ready to have my surgery, I searched high and low to find a planner or a journal to help me with that process, and more specifically help me through my recovery. And everything I found either pointed toward addiction recovery or cosmetic surgery, oddly enough. So I ended up actually making my own, and it turned out to be immensely helpful, not just for staying organized, so to speak, but also for my mental health. And I figured that if it was helpful to me, it might be helpful to someone else. So I did some reflection on my experience, things I wish I'd had, things I wish I had known, and made some tweaks and decided to make that journal available on Etsy. Let me just show it to you right quick. All right, so here is the post-op recovery journal / planner. Right now it comes in two different colorways: the watercolor dream, which is a relaxing pastel iteration, and a minimalist black and white, for those of you who might not want all the frills, or for those of you who want all the creative freedom to add all the frills on your own. So I'm going to flip through the watercolor version right quick. They're both the same, just different colorway and different font. First up, I gave you guys a hospital packing list based on my experience in my own recovery, as well as some slots to add some of your own items. If you're interested in seeing how I packed my own hospital bag for my surgery, I actually included that in the second part of my fibroid series. So check that out if you need even more of the deets. But hospital packing list and also pre-surgery checklist. These are some pages I actually did not have in my own recovery that I wish I had, so I added them for you guys. So there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to preparing for a surgery, and it's not just about the surgery. You have household things, financial things, personal things that you have to do. So I gave you guys some cues here, as well as some empty blank check boxes for you to add your own to-dos. Along that same vein, expense planning. This is another page I wish I had. So you're probably taking a lot of time off work if you're having major surgery, and you might need to make a few adjustments to your budget. You can plan that here. Or if you have somebody that's going to be assisting you with making sure that things are taken care of, you can put those things down here, as well as when they're due, how much they should cost, and check off whether or not they have been paid. I want to make a note here that this planner, this journal, is not just helpful for the person that is having the surgery, but it's also a helpful tool for the people who will be doing the caregiving during your surgery. That said, the next page emergency contacts. So you have a side for personal, which could be your lawn person, I don't know, or your child care providers, other family members that you might need to get in touch with. You can put that there. And on the opposite side, the medical contacts, super important. Your doctors, your surgeons, your pharmacy. This will help you put your caregivers, your family, your friends in a place where they're empowered to advocate for you, especially while you're on the table and you're incapacitated, or those first couple of days. They can contact the people they need to on your behalf if necessary. Then post-op notes. Now, when I got discharged, they sent me home with all of these different pages of notes and instructions and this, that, and the other. And as much paperwork as they gave me, I still had questions. And I remember my surgeon coming in to check on me the next day, and she gave me some instructions that weren't in that paperwork. And I had questions that weren't in that paperwork. And I wish I had had the presence of mind to either write that stuff down or have somebody write it down for me. So I gave you post-op notes pages just for that kind of thing. So you don't have to worry about, man, I forgot about this particular medication or how to clean my wound or whatever the case may be. Let me try to get in touch with somebody. Okay? Next up are some kind of fun pages where I gave you a page for goals and some general trackers. Now, you might not have anything you want to focus on, but maybe you do, like drinking water, or you say, I'm gonna read all the Psalms during my recovery. Whatever the case may be, you can write that down here in these goal boxes. I've got spiritual, mental, physical, and personal, and you can track them over here daily and weekly. In that same vein, mood tracker, reading log for those books that you'll finally get around to reading, and those TV shows that you'll finally get around to binge watching, and then a movie log so you can bring out your inner Siskel and Ebert and say whether it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Now, beyond the trackers, weekly sheets. So this is kind of the planner / journal aspect of this printable. So we have a slot for you to date the week, as well as boxes for your goals or your focus for the week, a food log, which will be quite important depending on what kind of surgery you've had. And then on this right side, I've given you a place to track your pain and your mood each day, and some blank spaces. And I'm going to show you a couple ways to use that. In my planner, this was like my first week. I, for the most part, tracked my pain and my mood here, and I used my empty boxes to journal as I felt like it. But later on in my recovery, I began to use it more like a planner. I actually used stickers. I went ahead and used those to label my days. I added checklist items because I actually started to have to-dos again, as well as events and a little washi just for a fun touch. So there's a couple different options for you to use these boxes, but the world is your oyster. Next two pages are a medication log and an activity log. So when you get discharged from surgery, You might have a million different prescriptions and drugs that they want you to take, all at different times and perhaps different ways. So I use this space to note the medication, what time I took said medication, and notes about it. All of that became really, really helpful to me when I went in for my post-op appointment with my surgeon, because I was able to ask her questions based on what I had documented in my medication log, in my journal, even in my food log. So having that handy will keep you from having to try to remember all of that kind of thing. And your physical activity log, at some point you may pick up walking or some light exercise, and you can log your activity, how long you did it, as well as how intense it was, and any notes. So you get six weeks of these 4 pages. But the beauty of a printable is that if you need 8 weeks, just print 2 more. If you need more trackers or more emergency contacts, whatever the case may be, you have the freedom to print more at no additional cost to you. So last but not least, in the recovery journal is the health recap page. I use this page to journal my overall thoughts about my experience, how I felt, and my intention was to place a picture here, and I never got around to it. But you can put a picture here, you can draw, you can write an affirmation, whatever you want. It's your journal to do with what you will. So there's the journal. Right now, size-wise, when you buy either one of these, you get the A4 size, letter size, Happy Planner Classic, which is the 7x9.25, as well as the A5 version. I didn't originally have A5, but somebody asked for it. So you ask, I can probably deliver if there are other sizes that you are interested in having. A note, if I didn't already mention this, my printer, I printed this on regular copy paper. I think I used 28-pound copy paper, 96 brightness, which did quite well. But if you can get your hands on 120 or 100 GSM paper that has a little heavier weight, trust me, you'll love it. Once you go that direction, you won't want to print a planner on anything else. So just a note about that. I'll actually link the paper I used for my original journal down in the description below. Also, this planner, particularly the watercolor one, my planner here at home does not have the option to print borderless. I wish it did, but it doesn't. So it will print with this white line around the edge. But if you have a borderless printer, or you send it somewhere like Staples where they can do that, I set this planner up edge to edge where it can be printed that way, and you won't have the white. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, there you have it. That is my post-op recovery journal, and I hope you love it. So if you're interested in purchasing this journal for yourself or for a loved one, you can find them as of right now on Etsy, and I will drop the links to the listings below in the description bar. But I really, really hope that it helps somebody else as much as it helps me. The planner portion I had in mind to help people kind of make sense of getting ready for surgery, and to not come out of their recovery scrambling and feeling like they have to catch up. But the journal part, I really wanted to address the fact that nobody tells you about the mental aspect of recovery from a physical surgery. We think so much about our bodies healing and all of that kind of thing, but nobody tells you about the confinement, the fatigue, sometimes the loneliness, all kinds of emotions that can creep up on you while you are in a state of recovering. So I hope that portion of this particular project will help somebody just find some peace, find things to keep your mind busy, to reflect, a place, an outlet that's safe to get your thoughts onto a piece of paper and unload that stress. So again, I hope this is helpful. If you're interested, check me out on Etsy. And y'all, I really, really appreciate you. Tell somebody. If you aren't going through this right now, but you know somebody who is, tell a friend. I appreciate that as well. Y'all support means everything. So until next time, do what you love what you do, and try something new, because you might help more than you. And I will see you all on the next one. Bye-bye.